Bray Wyatt this past week missed the big Madison Square Garden show that WWE runs, and it raised some eyebrows because he also wasn't on Friday Night SmackDown. He wasn't at SmackDown, I should say. And that got a lot of people talking about, well, what's going on with Bray? Fightful Select has reported, this is Fightful Select, Sean Ross Sapp and company, have reported that Bray Wyatt is in fact dealing with some sort of a physical issue. That is according to WWE. That is WWE's official stance on the matter, that Bray Wyatt, this is a physical situation. This is something that has kept him on the sidelines. They did not specify what it is. We know that a few months ago he was dealing with that broken finger. However, he wrestled through that. He wrestled I think 11 or 12 matches through that injury. So it's hard for us to really pinpoint what exactly that could be. Of course, it's not out of the realm of possibility for a wrestler to get injured. This kind of stuff happens in the world of professional wrestling. But what a lot of people are talking about, and what has a lot of people talking are these rumors. There are rumors that Bray Wyatt did in fact walk out of WWE. That is what the rumor mill is saying. You're hearing those kind of voices, like not reports, but you're hearing those kind of things floated out there. And I think it was Dave Meltzer who kind of, in a very interesting way, said, well, yeah, Bray Wyatt wasn't at SmackDown. He wasn't at the MSG show. And, it was kind of like a bit of a tongue-in-cheek situation. That's at least how people read that. And ever since then, people have been saying, well, Bray Wyatt, possibly no showing here. Could you see a situation where it's similar to the Naomi Sasha Banks situation where he just walked out and he doesn't come back? I think wrestling fans kind of need to push the pause button on this one. And I'm not saying that, we're obviously going to talk about it. We obviously are talking about it. But I'm not saying that we shouldn't talk about it, but I'm saying that we shouldn't talk about these things with certainty. You can't talk about these things with certainty if we don't know what exactly is going on. I don't know why Bray Wyatt hasn't been on TV. Some things that I know for sure are that wrestlers get injured and that WWE said that this is a physical issue. Okay. Does that mean that WWE is always going to be truthful in these situations? No, obviously not. And it's not in their best interest to be truthful. It's in their best interest to, even if there's any sort of dissent or if there's any sort of unhappiness on the part of the talent, it's in their best interest to quell that and to make sure that people aren't aware of that and change the narrative. Control your narrative, folks. But at the same time, yeah, Bray Wyatt probably dealing with an injury. On the other hand, you could argue that the Uncle Howdy Bray Wyatt stuff has not necessarily been handled in the best way. You could say that Bray Wyatt's character as of late, I personally have been a fan of Bray for a long time. The Uncle Howdy stuff, I ain't gonna lie to you, recently has not been great for me. It has not been my cup of tea. But that being said, ever since he's brought back the Firefly Funhouse and he's done this feud with Lashley, I'm getting back into it. But from the outside looking in, I could see why, given the creative way that this whole thing has gone. I could see why Bray Wyatt might be a little upset with WWE. I could see why he might be a little miffed about the way he's being presented. And if this isn't Bray Wyatt's vision, if this is, maybe a combination of like the creative team and Triple H kind of shifting his vision into something that he didn't want it to be, don't be surprised if it comes out in the next few weeks, months, whatever, that Bray Wyatt did in fact leave. And don't be surprised if one day we're sitting here and wondering what if, that's the big thing. What if Bray Wyatt was just allowed to do what he wanted? What if he was allowed to control his own narrative? What would happen? You never know. It's difficult to really, I think, speculate on what exactly is wrong here. But one thing that I do know, they said in the report, FightfulSelect.com said in the report that Bray's being sidelined with a physical issue and WWE's not sure when he will return. And I don't know. I hope everything's okay, because I don't want to rule out, like the possibility of, like, just other stuff happening. Things happen in people's lives, right? And that's the other reason why, like, I don't feel comfortable, like, going in, like, full uncertainty in one direction, being like, oh my God, Bray Wyatt walked out. Oh, it's breaking news. Bum, 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 bum. No. Like, I'm not going to go off and do that. But Bray Wyatt not being there for WWE, whether it's an injury, whether it's him walking out, whether it's him just taking time off, it's a big story because, like it or not, he's one of the biggest stars they have. He's one of the biggest draws they have. He's one of the most popular acts that company has. And losing him is a big deal, and we should talk about it. Whether it's losing him for a week, 2 weeks, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever. It's a big deal. But what I don't want to have happen is for me, people like me who talk about this stuff, right, to go off and say with certainty, well, Bray Wyatt, he's done with WWE. They gave him shit creative, blah, 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 blah. Like, shouldn't do that. You can talk about it as if, it's happening, you can talk about it as if what could happen or what could have happened. You can talk about it like in ifs and coulds and all that kind of stuff, but you can't talk about it with certainty. That's one of the problems I have with, like, the wrestling world. I get it. We're talking about rumors most of the time. It's okay. Like, we're all going to slip up, but I just don't like talking about things when we don't have all of the facts presented. The other big thing that plays into this whole story is we're just, 3-4 weeks away from WrestleMania? Less than 4 weeks away from WrestleMania? Like, it's March 13th as of this recording, and Bray Wyatt's scheduled to have a program with Bobby Lashley. And we're wondering whether or not he's going to be here in WWE. Like, him missing WrestleMania would be stupendous. I don't know. Okay, not stupendous because that's a positive connotation, but it would be insane for Bray Wyatt to miss WrestleMania. And that's why it's such a big story, because it's happening during WrestleMania time. He's one of the biggest stars in the company. It's one of the most polarizing stories that the company's had as far as Bray Wyatt's Uncle Howdy, stuff. And this is also happening at a time where, Alexa Bliss, who was kind of in this Uncle Howdy storyline, this Bray Wyatt return storyline, she's suddenly been taken off TV. And I don't know, man. Something about it, I do agree with a few people online who are like, something about it ain't right, obviously. And I agree. I don't think something about this is necessarily right. But I can't speak with certainty about what it is. And again, whatever it is, I hope that Bray Wyatt and WWE are over to overcome it, whether it's an injury or whatever. They're able to overcome it, and Bray Wyatt's able to wrestle at WrestleMania. Because, like it or not, I wasn't a big fan of his match with LA Knight, but Bray Wyatt is still one of the best in-ring workers that WWE's had. And I'm not saying that is like he's not a technical magician, but the dude knows how to tell a story in a wrestling match, and not a lot of guys who can do that nowadays, like outside of the top guys. So we'll see what happens, obviously. But if you're just joining us, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released.